Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and to include extraneous materials on this measure.
Without objection, so ordered.
Madam Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of Bills 5615, the Homeland Security Capabilities Preservation Act. In the wake of September 11th, there was a recognition that cities across the nation could be targeted for terrorism and that they did not have the resources to develop core capabilities to prevent, protect against, and respond to terrorist attacks and other catastrophic events on their own. Starting in 2003, cities across the nation began receiving dedicated counterterrorism grant funding from the Department of Homeland Security's Urban Area Security Initiative Grant Program. The URASI program, as it has become to be known, provides first responders with the tools, resources, and training they need to safely and effectively protect our communities. At its height, the URASI program funded approximately 60 cities. In recent years, however, the number of cities receiving funding under the program has been reduced to, on average, 30 each year. While support to cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago has remained constant, year-to-year fluctuations in grant funding levels and changes in DHS's risk formula have resulted in some cities losing funding unexpectedly. As a result, cities like Orlando, Las Vegas, and Omaha face uncertainty year after year whether they will receive URASI funding or will be forced to try and maintain core Homeland Security capabilities on its own. The sudden loss of federal support places great strain on cities that often lack the resources to cover such unexpected costs. My bill, the Homeland Security Capabilities Preservation Act, which is co-sponsored by my friend from Nebraska, Mr. Bacon, recognizes the importance of preserving capabilities achieved with federal grant dollars, particularly given how dynamic the terrorism threat landscape is today. It directs DHS to develop a plan for how to support the transition of costs associated with maintaining Homeland Security core capabilities achieved through URASI investments. Specifically, my bill would direct DHS, acting through FEMA, to survey current and former URASI cities regarding their capabilities that were achieved through URASI grant funding that are at risk of being reduced or eliminated without federal assistance. Additionally, the bill would require DHS, if needed, to submit a plan on how to make federal assistance available to former URASI jurisdictions to take on the cost of preserving URASI-funded Homeland Security capabilities, including legislation. This plan is the first step to ensure that all cities have the capabilities they need to secure themselves from terrorist threats. With that, I urge my House colleagues to support this legislation, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume. I rise today in support of H.R. 5615, the Homeland Security Capabilities Preservation Act. The DHS Urban Area Security Initiative provides critical funding to high-risk urban areas. Since URASI funding is risk-based, there are urban areas that develop and support certain counterterrorism capabilities using the grant funding but don't remain on the high-risk list and therefore don't consistently receive funding every year. This legislation simply directs the Secretary of Homeland Security to submit to Congress a plan to make federal assistance available for at least 3 consecutive fiscal years to certain urban areas that did not receive funding under URASI. This plan will inform Congress about the needs and concerns of certain urban areas that may not consistently receive such funding. I urge members to join me in supporting H.R. 5615, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentlewoman is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I have no more speakers, and I am prepared to close after the gentleman from New York closes.
The gentlewoman reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield back. I have no further speakers.
The gentleman yields back. The gentlewoman is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield myself the balance of the time. H.R. 5615 is the first step in ensuring that cities that fall on and off the URASI list will have the opportunity to preserve their capabilities that were built out with the funding provided by the program. Enacting H.R. 5615 is timelier now than ever, particularly given how dynamic the terrorist threat landscape is today. I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 5615, and I yield back the balance of my time.